I'm trying to settle.
I promise you're going to marry the love of your life.
What's up, guys? Today we're talking about The Materialists, directed and written by Celine Song. The movie stars Dakota Johnson, Pedro Pascal, Chris Evans, and Zoe Winters. The Materialist tells the tale of Lucy, Dakota Johnson, a matchmaker in New York City who finds herself involved in a love triangle with a handsome, wealthy, checks all the boxes beau, played by Pedro Pascal, and a down-on-his-luck ex, played by Chris Evans, who embraced the arts and chased his dream. What ensues is a movie that is a quite effective romantic drama, but one which sows a few too many threads and ends up getting caught up smelling the roses and cut by a few of its own thorns. Before we go any further, I'm going to go ahead and drop a spoiler warning, so now is your time to pause this video, go watch The Materialist, and then come back and let me tell you how to feel about it. Now, let's get into it. Director Celine Song's previous entry, the Academy Award-nominated Past Lives, was a revelation. I had never seen a movie that so deftly captured the idea of unrequited love and the difficulties of monogamy in modern romance, but also just the way love moves across cultures and peoples. With The Materialists, Song chooses to wisely go in a familiar yet still fresh direction on her meditations of love and relationships. Dakota Johnson's Lucy is an NYC matchmaker on the rise. She's managed to lock in a 9th wedding on her rap sheet, seemingly an impressive feat. Yet one of her clients, Sophie, played by Zoe Winters, has yet to find a match. There's always matchmaking work to be done. Lucy looks at anyone who crosses her path as a number. She's cool, calculated, and smooth. But we begin to wonder, based on her stoic demeanor, has she been in love? Does she know what it means? At said 9th wedding, she meets Harry, played by the ever-magnetic Pedro Pascal. Pascal showed up to play, and Johnson does her best to throw it back at him. She grills Harry with question after question, it becoming abundantly clear that he may be a prime candidate for her services. Then, as Harry asks Lucy what she's drinking, John, Chris Evans, shows up as a wedding caterer with a Coke and a beer right on cue, and that's a primo drink order. I'd marry Dakota J on the spot with that one. Evans plays Lucy's ex John with a struggling actor's swagger, a bit of a dirtbag, but charming. There's a sadness to him that adds an effective layer to the love triangle and narrative arc. He and Lucy ride home together, the decadence of the wedding juxtaposed by his rickety old beater sedan. Wealth and success is a big part of love, and Song wisely chooses to keep that at the forefront in what I found to be a refreshing take on the trope. Flashback to the beginning of the movie, we are regaled with a flurry of cinematic references. I saw a touch of 2001: A Space Odyssey in the intro, but with a Robert Altman touch, even something along the lines of Woody Allen, a la Manhattan, and some Scorsese thrown in for good measure. The flower ring is a key symbol of the movie, highlighting that since the dawn of time, humans have had a specific ritual when it comes to bonding, mating, and marriage. Seemingly innocent, there is still an exchange of items. Materials, found and repurposed tools. So again, we see this more wholesome image juxtaposed by the modern humanity in the bustling streets of New York, which Song captures so well in the film. The cinematography is sweeping and gorgeous, understated in a way that I find hard to describe. Shabir Kirchner's work here exhibits a love for the city and for Lucy's role as a matchmaker. The topic of setting up two complete strangers without knowing the bachelors on an intimate level is explored, as are many other topics, to varying degrees of success. The movie's best ideas are explored in Lucy's relationship with Harry, as she agrees to date him basically because he's the perfect man on paper, a unicorn as they call it in the matchmaking biz. She doesn't refer to relationships and love as the ethereal things we pretend to care about, and we do care about those things, but Lucy's viewpoint will cause some to grapple with their idea of love. You are looking for a person who can change your diapers eventually, a grave buddy, even if that language isn't so cozy for those hopeless romantics out there. That shit's fine and dandy, but Lucy's idea of love is built into her job. Look at the ways she looks at the two men she's faced with. What can be afforded, and can you afford me? That's a gross simplification, but I find it refreshing. Marriage is very much the creation of an LLC, whether you like it or not. I'm not some gross capitalist or anything, but money is an important facet of life, and thus relationships. I like a no-frills approach to love from time to time. Ultimately, in the movie's many endings, it feels like it's going to end several times before the actual ending. It does eventually land on the tried and true trope that love for the sake of it is the path worth choosing. And while the script is very smart and amusing, taking a glance into the many insecurities and considerations that men and women have in the dating pools, I wonder if the actors were up to the task of translating Song's material to the screen. There's something missing here. Take this with a grain of salt, because I truly liked all the acting performances in the movie, but there were several moments where it lost my full attention, and it was in scenes like the long, wow, this should feel more incredible restaurant scene with Lucy and Harry, you'll know, or even in some of Lucy's moments in dealing with her client's SA. I didn't feel like they needed to explore this element of of the plot so much, as the revelation alone could have added some important character building and we could see how it played out with her relationships with Harry and John, but I digress. It's just overstuffed. It's a gorgeous movie and it's my favorite performance I've seen from Dakota Johnson so far. Her performance will be polarizing, as it seems most of hers are. Lucy is incredibly relatable, and Johnson manages to imbue her with a believable insecurity masked by swagger and professional charm, though it was hard to believe she was a smoker. I don't know. I didn't buy it, but it was another important piece of her character's calculated approach to life and dating. There were a few moments I really felt for her and teared up with her journey, especially in her scene shared with Zoe Winters' Sophie, who is tremendous as well. Succession Army, rise up. My favorite performance of the movie was definitely Chris Evans, though. It's great to see him in a role like this. I find that with him being so handsome-y, Captain America-y, he shines just a bit more brightly playing a beautiful loser. He's great as a art for the art's sake, down on his luck actor, pulling catering gigs in New York City to make ends meet. He has roommates and he has anger problems. He's kinda sad and imperfect. Evans conveys John's emotions well, and even though I didn't quite buy the quick turnaround for him and Lucy in the movie's ending, I bought John the entire time. There's something about the scene where he buys the 2 chicken over rice at the halal cart, another one of those quiet moments of The Materialists where the sweet sincerity of a dank city like New York shines even brighter. I admit the synchronicity with the flower ring and the ending appealed to my own cheesy sensibilities, and that they married in what is likely the prettiest courthouse I've ever seen was relatable because my wife and I did the same thing last year. I'd be remiss not to mention the music from Daniel Pemberton. I found that in the moments where Lucy is selling women on her services as Harry watches nearby, Pemberton's subdued yet throbbing instrumentals helped propel the movie and add exciting tension to each scene. Many of the film's needle drops help further invoke that New York City feeling, as Manhattan by Cat Power and Velvet Underground's Oh Sweet Nothin' help in harnessing the movie's raw honesty and romantic prowess. Ultimately, what will be perplexing to audiences is the way the movie was marketed. It carries many hallmarks of the traditional romantic comedy, like the vignettes of the various matchies talking about their non-negotiables, but the movie takes those things into a more solemn, honest direction as a straight-up drama. It's not preoccupied with idyllic romanticism, sex. It wants to look at the ugly decisions that can be made when putting a ring on it, but also how important those decisions are in setting up the rest of your life and theirs. It's a deftly written drama with a great cast and a ballsy follow-up to the heartbreak beauty of Past Lives, but feels a bit more mature and thought-provoking. It's one that I definitely plan to return to in the future, and one that I believe warrants more attention. Past Lives was never going to be an easy film to follow up on, and I'm glad Celine Song took the direction she did with The Materialists. Sometimes it's just fun to watch pretty people say words on screen, and with a wordsmith like Song at the helm, it's a refreshing breeze with a respect for the films that inspired it. Love isn't always about love, but it should be. Celine Song knows that, and it's what makes The Materialists work. It may not work for everyone, but it is a beautifully shot and written movie, if a bit lacking in the pacing and direction at times. The Materialist does ask the audience to recalibrate their expectations, but if you're willing to meet it on its level, you're gonna find a pretty interesting romantic drama to sink your teeth into. And if anything, you can just gawk at Dakota Johnson's immaculate hair, auga, that blue dress, or just gaze longingly at Pedro Pascal's beautiful mug and enjoy Chris Evans' everyman charm. It's a good time at the movies for all. What did you think of The Materialists? Was it better than Past Lives, or did you leave this movie date ready to call your matchmaker on speed dial? Leave all the comments below, and before you go, don't forget to like and smash that subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching this video and continuing to support the channel. Until next time, someone, anyone, bring me a Coke and a beer.
When I see your face, I see wrinkles and children that look like you.